Hello, everybody. Welcome to our very first AMA of 2024. Oh my gosh, 2 nights in a row. I had our premiere of our Patreon game yesterday, which was amazing. So much fun. And there's already clips of me flailing around like a wounded bat. Don't go look it up. And tonight we are back again for a 1 hour AMA with, of course, the lovely Mayhemmer and a bonus guest. I love bonus guests. We've been backstage talking about weird dog habits. So now we're going to talk about costuming instead. But I want to show off something really fun. I have a brand new opening intro video, and I'm really excited to show you. So here we go. Hello, guys.
I love that. I really do.
That's fun.
That was so cute. It's giving.
I feel like these are so special. They only happen once a month. They need like their own little like hype
That was
song.
special. Okay. All right.
Kara's here. Hi, Kara. I'm sorry. I know you missed last night. It should be live on the channel if you want to watch it. It was shenanigans. Not to give too much away, but there was already a pink mist on episode 1, which really bodes well for the rest of the season. So
yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
All right.
Hello, Brian's Gate is here. Oh yeah, Kara, for sure. Yeah, how are you guys doing? Because I feel like we all haven't seen each other since
ever.
Yeah,
really.
it's been like 4,000 years. Yeah, I know, because I've been busy, but now I'm not doing that job anymore. So
nice.
Oh my God, dying bat noises. What?
What?
No, you know, don't go into the Discord under clips from the show and look at the most recent one. Please don't do that.
Don't do it right now.
Don't do it right now.
Save it for later. Like everything is.
What was the question?
We're already off track. This is so good. And
look, now it's me watching y'all, and I love this for me. I love this for me. Oh my goodness.
All right, I guess we should be on track, huh? We should do what we're
here to do. There's a huge list.
There is a huge list. This is more questions than we usually have. So
I know
I'm actually
lying.
No, actually, there's a huge list.
It's a big list.
Why?
Because you're amazing.
You're famous, dude.
I don't know about that, but all right. I'll take.
I'm here the whole time to remind you how amazing you are, just in case you forget.
Oh, okay. Thank you for letting me know that I'm not a trash panda completely.
I'm not completely, no.
I mean, I'm secretly a trash panda. How do you think I get some of my fabric?
Good tip.
I'm so intrigued, and I want to put another question on here, but we don't have the time. All right, so I'm going to ask a couple questions. This one specifically comes from Eveline Evermore.
Okay.
Do you prefer, or do you feel like it's better to go simple or detailed on your costumes?
Oh, for me, it depends on what it is. So it depends on how extra I want to be for this particular thing. So I have done, certain characters that are very simple, because there's a nice simplicity can speak volumes. Especially if it's like fabric choices, you don't have to completely hand bead everything. It could be a nice trim. I, however, hate myself, and I'm a masochist. So I like to go personally as obnoxious as I possibly can. It also depends on your skill level. If you prefer to do simple, there's nothing wrong with simple, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to go on a preaching session at some point, depending on the questions. I think if you're still learning and you're trying to get the hang of certain things, simple is fine. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise, because I will fight them for you. But if you're a beginner, there's no shame in that. Like, I started 31 years ago, and my stuff looked like trash. Trash. And then of course when I hit my teens, it was simple. Everything was super simple, nothing was extravagant, nothing was over the top. And now I have an entire Italian Renaissance gown that's covered in Swarovski with a hand beaded reticule. So like it just depends on your skill
Amazing.
level and then what you want to do. My like this picture here that's in the background, there's nothing crazy. It's just a corset, a nice skirt. The only extra thing I did was make that center panel on the corset because I could not find the type of fabric that I want. So I overlaid three different fabrics to get that look. But it was very simple. Obviously, of course, it's not simple, but I didn't go anything over the top with zhuzh decor, stuff like that.
Zhuzh. Yeah.
Zhuzh.
Zhuzh.
Zhuzh it.
I had an armorer friend who used to call things dubuses. Anything that was added to the basic was a dubus.
Dubus. Oh, okay. All right. I like
Dubus.
that one.
I think I dated a couple dubuses.
Yeah,
I had a
definitely dated
dubus.
a couple dubuses.
I got a line of dubuses in college.
I feel like that's such an interesting question. Because you're right. It depends on what it is you're doing. Because I feel like I've seen some really cool over the top things for things that I think would have required more simplicity, or like I've launched into things where I'm just like, why am I working so hard? Like what, this doesn't call for it. Versus like you said, like a court gown or something where it's just like every additional layer is just making it so much better.
The first two things that popped in my mind were the red blood cells from Cells at Work, right?
Yes.
That's like, right, super simple. You don't even have to make anything for that one. And then on the opposite end, it's the masquerade gown from Labyrinth.
Yes. Which I can tell you is a nightmare, but we're not going to get into that.
I was going to say, is it on your list of impossible dream dresses?
That's
like
on the list of
everyone else?
that dress is on the list of I will never. Because I helped someone make the Cinderella dress from the live action, and that's just as bad. And I'm not doing that again. I'd rather remake my Tudor gown before I do that. And that's because of the fabric choices. That's what that is.
But I have to say, I was gonna say, I like at conventions, it's like you will often know who a character is without it like going the whole 9 yards. You'll still know who it is. It still looks good.
And I'm gonna tell you, as a person that judges a lot of cosplay and costume contests, over the top does not always win. It's about technique. So I've seen some super simple, gorgeous costumes that have come in first place, and it is not embellished. The lines were clean, the seams were seamless, the tailoring was perfect, so it's not always about how much stuff you can throw on top of it. It's about the craft value of it. So sometimes you can have something super simple and you can master a technique, and that'll make, it'll make a huge difference. So like, for those that are starting, definitely start simple. Like I started simple, and there's no reason to get into all that overcomplicated stuff. Now I'm making an entire Italian gown with the devil's fabric, AKA gold lame. And I chose that life and made that as a conscious decision, and that's a whole nother thing with a whole nother steps. So just go simple. Like there's nothing wrong with being simple.
Good answer.
Trust me, if anything's about sewing, it's going to be me. It really is, though. It's the devil's fabric. He created it and brought it to Earth. Both of me, the devil's fabric.
All right. I'm gonna just jump around in here randomly. Okay, this is actually good. You kind of answered this a little bit, but just to go back to it, how long have you been cosplaying?
Cosplaying or sewing? Cosplaying or sewing?
One of each.
Sewing, I've been sewing for 31 years.
Okay.
Cosplaying consecutively.
What was it like to sew as a 3-year-old?
I started sewing when I was 5. I did it the old school way because I was an apprentice. So That's how I started. So I had a needle and thread. I had to learn how to hand do everything. And then somewhere around 9, they went, okay, now here's the sewing machine. So
Gotcha.
you made me suffer for no reason. Okay, so cosplaying, that's a little bit harder for me to answer because I was in corporate America for a while. So there was a time where it was consistent and then it just kind of dropped off because I worked in corporate banking. So it was a lot harder. But I still did stuff when I could, maybe once a year. So I want to say if I do from the age of 14 to 22,
Okay.
and then when did I have my second son? So from the age of 20, no, my first son, from the age of 27 to now. So that's about almost 10 years after that.
Okay.
Consistently, like without drama, like a real, like a day job from
Gotcha.
Hades.
All right, sweet. Thank you, Z, for asking, like, when did you start when you were like in a bassinet? Because that's when I hear 31 years. Like, I've been sewing for 31 years. I'm like, what?
Dude,
But I
people
get
are
what
always
you're
surprised
saying.
about my age, though. Like, people really get shocked. They think I'm like in my 20s, and I said I don't want to go back to that point in my life ever again. It was trash. I'm quite happy to be knocking on 40's door personally. So
I love how I have like this opposite thing because my mother was constantly trying to teach me to sew, but I was such a tomboy and was like, have no time for it.
Oh, I mean, so was I, but I grew up on a cattle farm and we were poor and broke, so I couldn't afford certain things. So I had to make my own rodeo gear or make my own, I don't know, winter formal dress or some crap because we didn't have money like that. So I would like usually get borrowed, like I would get gifted, I should say, fabric for me to do something. So like the only dress I finally didn't make was my prom gown because my grandmother bought it for me. But yeah, like I was still like horseback riding, doing rodeos and everything like that, super tomboy. But I was always like, dang, I can't afford this shirt and these
so
pants
learn
and
to
these accents. Yeah,
because I was just saying before we went on that I only learned to sew less than 10 years ago.
no shame in
And
that.
it was because I was doing medieval, and there's not a lot of medieval that you can get online or whatever. At least
or
not.
it's trash. Or it's trash.
Yeah,
or it's like
trash.
polyester. Like polyester.
Right. And that's not to say there isn't good stuff out there. So like I wanted to learn and a friend of mine was nice enough to teach me the basics. And I've only gotten like a little beyond that because I'm like a gremlin. And I'm like haunted. Whatever machines I use will invariably break in some weird way. It's just a thing.
That's the curse of sewing machines, though. It is not you. Like, I've had the weirdest
No. Let me tell you something. First of all, you are never allowed near my sewing machine. And if we get to that, I'm gonna tell you why. Because I will cry and commit homicide.
my friend actually loaned me her serger, and she was like, "Don't worry, I've had it for 5 years. It's never jammed. It's never anything. I had it for 10 minutes, and it broke 2 needles and jammed so bad it took us 20 minutes to clear it."
Okay,
and it wasn't like anything I did. It literally just spazzed.
I don't want you in the same state as me. So listen, if we get to a point where I can talk about my sewing machine, you're going to find out why this one is never allowed to be in my zip code. Because I always scorched earth the whole state. I'm just going to burn everything. Because by that point, I might as well just go bankrupt. Okay, yeah. And let me clarify. When I said trash, I don't mean it's terrible. It's just that if you're doing medieval stuff and it's hot outside, pro tip, polyester is bad. Polyester is a bad time. That's a terrible time.
I will preach the wonderfulness that is linen forever and ever.
And I have a pro tip about linen too, by the way.
And linen plus wool layering about how wonderful it is when you do it right. It'll be great in winter and it'll be great in summer. And I say that as a person who lives in Texas.
And I'm gonna tell you, there's a dupe of linen that's actually cheaper, and it keeps warm in the winter and keeps
Ooh,
hot. I mean, keeps warm in the winter and cool in the summer. And I found
nice.
it, and I've been making all my Viking stuff out of it.
That's
Pro
smart.
tip. Yep.
Are you willing to share now, or is
No,
this
no,
like
I'm
a
just
big
kidding.
secret?
So no, just kidding.
You
So
can say no, it's your tip. Like,
no, it's fine. It's not like it's a hidden secret that was. So there's a website called Fabric Wholesale Direct, Fabric
okay.
Warehouse Direct. Hold on. Now I'm gonna make sure I'm not making a liar out of myself. Fabric Wholesale. I almost said warehouse.
Yeah.
Fabric Wholesale Direct,
Yeah.
and it's a fabric called Linen Italiano, and it
Okay.
looks like linen. It looks woven, but it's a lot denser and moisture wicks without paying that linen price. So it's like $7.99 a yard compared to like $16-20 a yard.
Nice. Does
So
anybody want to know the science behind why linen is better than cotton for moisture wicking?
Yes.
pro tip.
I know why
Get
I feel the
linen.
need to do that.
Do it. Pro tip. Linen's better. The end.
So the fibers in cotton swell when they get wet, but linen fibers do not swell. So when you have a warp and a weft, right?
Yep.
And they've actually, even if you can't see them, there's holes there. As the fibers swell, they fill in that gap, and then it gets a little harder to breathe, the fabric to breathe. So that's why linen breathes better than cotton.
Because it's such a bigger weave, like it's such a
Yeah,
larger weave,
It's
and
chunkier and it doesn't swell.
and it depends on the level of the grade of linen.
Yeah,
Makes a huge difference too, depending on how thin it is, shirt weight, dress weight, whatever. But it also
Yep.
depends on the weave of it and where you're coming from. Pro tip: that is the only fabric you can rip
Yeah.
to cut.
And rip
And
it
if I
straight.
find somebody, and let me tell you, that's because it's woven correctly. Now, if I catch somebody ripping some cotton from Joann's, it's gonna be a bad time for you. Just been there, done that, because I had them rip it on me and I cried. I can go preaching about that. Next question. I can preach. I can do a whole nother thing on, let me tell you why the world is trash with fabric.
I love the idea of having, so I need to do a dual AMA in March or April anyway. So I love the idea of having one being like fabric trash talk, like a WWE SmackDown on fabric.
WWF.
Oh yeah.
WWF. It worked.
That's fantastic. All right. Actually, Sally just jumped in and we're saying hi. And Sally actually submitted a question. How, I feel like this speaks to my soul and it'll definitely speak to you guys too. How do you find a location to make garb when you have no room at home?
Okay, when you say no room, what do we call no room? Because depending on your physical, I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it. Because I know I can't sit on the floor for 1,000 years. Depending on how your body is and how jacked up you are, like me, or if you have floors or if you have carpet and stuff like that. Cutting mats are your friend. Cutting mats are your friend. They always have sales on them somewhere. You don't have to do like I did and get a double-sided one that costs $120 because I hate myself and I got tired of cutting through into my board. But you can lay out some inexpensive cutting mats. You do not need the overpriced ones like I have, because you're not going to be doing as much ridiculousness like I am every single day, if you're not doing that for a living. And floors are your friend if you're able to, because some people don't have a dedicated room. Dining tables are great.
Dining table.
I have a Scottish banquet table in my home, and when I need to do stuff, I just extend it and I just go cutting crazy. So it's all about, look at your space, see what kind of free space you have, or if you're able to shift around furniture, been there, done that. Create a space if you can. It doesn't always have to be a fancy sewing room or let me go and create this, whatever. You use whatever space you can utilize. Treat it as like Jenga. If you can slide something there, no floor, no table, all filled with Scout ready stuff and Viking stuff. No floor, no table space or whatever. Okay, so here is another idea. I don't know if you guys have this, and I don't know how much they cost because somebody, what do they call them? Workspaces, shared workspaces. They have
Oh,
I don't know,
Yeah.
have them up there. There's like art ones where you can go in there, pay like $5 or something like, and use like their space. And then that way you can have a space of your own to go in, cut stuff, sew stuff, even if you just want some quiet to escape.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say libraries will probably let you as well. You can kind
Yeah.
of reserve those tables.
Yeah, you can reserve like the study rooms, and
Yeah.
then just lay out on the floor. There you go, makerspace. There you go. Paying them the big bucks. So see, we don't really have those here. I just only got to see some in LA and New York and stuff because we live in the middle of nowhere. So you can do that. Like if you get a study room, you can use that space and just scout out how big the study rooms are in different libraries, and it kind of just varies depending on how large the library it is, if it's by a college. Airbnb crafting if you got the money, if you can afford an Airbnb to go crafting, but like if you can rent spaces, that's great too if you have the means. But however, nobody actually always has the means. I didn't have the means. I had to just like wing it and make it work when I was young. But if you can like reserve, like we said, a library spot, that's great. That's for people that may be on a budget. If like Sally says, there's no floor, no table space, um, you know, maybe do a purge like I did this year and
Yeah, I
choose
mean that's
violence. Because I
Or
did this year.
or decide that you need to spend some time with a friend who has a big table that you haven't seen in a while. And boy,
That's
howdy.
the other thing. Be like, hey, girl, I ain't seen you in a bit. You know what? We should do a sleepover.
How
By
do
the
you
way,
feel
I'm
about
bringing
pins?
all my stuff. How do
you
you
feel
feel like a
about things.
whole sewing machine showing up at your house? By the way, do you have a table so I can just cut everything on? But yeah, asking friends is another option too. So if you have people that have the space, go for it. I do like the idea, like I said, of Airbnb crafting, but like I said, not everybody has the funds and the way of doing it. Now, if you have a bunch of friends, wait, can I curse on here?
I think
Um,
we're allowed one.
I
one
get
F
one?
bomb, go for it.
Oh, it's the B word.
Oh, go for it.
Oh.
Yeah. You were gonna say
Okay,
stitch and bitch.
so
Go for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So stitch and bitch. So if you get a bunch of people, I have to ask. So if you get a bunch of people together and you split a decent sized Airbnb, make a weekend of it. It's called a stitch and bitch for a reason. Get some wine, get your projects together. I don't always recommend drinking in projects. Not everybody's built like a New Orleans girl, but I say get together, help each other. Some people might know something that you don't know, and you can share this co-space while getting a nice little getaway.
Yeah, there note on the drinking and sloping. I have a slope somewhere that was made when we were all entirely too much into our cups, and I wish I knew exactly where it was so you could see it. 'Cause,
If it makes you funny, like I get way more creative when I have wine, and I've made some of the best stuff when I've had like 2 glasses of wine.
it was literally like just the slope for my torso
Yeah.
so that I could like add skirting to it and however I wanted to do it.
And how'd
And
that go
you
for
would
you?
be like, I didn't realize you had scoliosis and that it was that bad.
Hey, scoliosis twins unite. Hey.
I'm like, I don't, but if you looked at this, it's like
Oh
You
no.
should have just lied and said, yeah.
because we did,
Yeah.
we did, like you take muslin, right? You just take 2 big sheets of muslin and you pin it to a person and then you draw it off and then you unpin and then you cut along those lines.
Yeah.
Well, there's so many steps along that way where a bunch of drunk people do not
Yeah.
All right. Well, we know where Z messed up. What's the
You know what?
What's
It was
the next-
inspired. Yeah, I see
Right.
no problem with any of that.
No, I
love
love
it.
that for you. I love that for you. It was an avant-garde piece. It should be
It
on
was,
New York
yeah.
Fashion Week.
That's what it
If
was.
they're wearing trash bags in Milan, why not? Like,
Gold lame trash bags in Milan is the name of our
oh
of
my
our
God,
sewing
wait,
book.
I didn't think about that. A gold lame trash bag and just put some arms in it.
Oh, if that wasn't done in the 60s, I don't know.
And call it a Jean Paul Gaultier and just like
Yep.
make billions of dollars off of it.
All
Okay.
right. What is your speaking of like designer things that cost $1 million, what, if you're comfortable sharing, what is your
Yeah.
most expensive cosplay project? Not specifically how much it costs, but like which one of yours do you think is like, oh man, I spent the most money on this thing specifically?
I'm going through my Rolodex. Hold, please.
You're good. You're good.
My wedding dress.
That don't count. That's not a cosplay
Ooh.
unless you're divorced.
It was. Well, it wasn't a cosplay, but it
Sorry.
is based off of a Waterhouse dress.
Oh, get
That
out.
I
Which one? I need
made.
to know.
Oh yeah, which one?
The Ophelia. So it's the blue with the rose
Oh,
and the
that's cute.
gold embroidery.
Yeah.
That's
That's
cute.
awesome.
But I made it as I did it as a Bleo. So
I'm trying
it
to.
kind
I'm
of was in the-
literally. Okay. You know what?
Mm.
I would have to say I don't know if it counts as cosplay, but I'm on cast for the Carolina Renaissance Fair. It has to be my court gown. It has to be
Okay.
my court gown.
I
The
think
fabric.
I think history bounding is like a subcategory of
I
cosplay.
will tell you the main fabric alone was and then when you got to the trim it was and then once you got to the and then we're not even going to talk about how I had to make the attafe and then so like that's probably the most yeah, right? People that saw me on court didn't even recognize me, which made me even happier. That means I cleaned up well. So it was, I think that has to be it. Second, probably this gown I'm working on for Katsucon right now.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, actually, I was gonna save this for the end, but I feel like I need to talk about this right now. I would love to know what your upcoming projects are that you're working on, any events that you're making them for. Like, I feel like I keep up with you on Instagram a lot, but I don't know if everyone who's watching does.
So funny story. So Katsucon is in National Harbor, aka might as well be called DC, at the Gaylord National Resort. And it's essentially fashion week. Like it's essentially fashion week for cosplayers. That's where a lot of the big costume contests are. And I'm judging this year for the cosplay competition this year. There was a gown that I made last year that I wanted to test run before I committed to everything that was about to go on there. So I test ran it, everything was copacetic. So now I am doing an Italian Renaissance gown, but it's inspired by, here comes the old weeb heads, Ah My Goddess, and I'm doing Erd. Yep, it's all purple, gold, and black and white.
That's beautiful.
My girlfriend made my wings as a gift, so I have a black wing and a white wing that are like angel feather wings. But like I said, it's purple taffeta with gold lame binding. I
Taffeta
have
and lame.
Yeah, I hate myself. So
You're
then
sick.
I did. So obviously, it's more of like an inspirational cross. So I have these exactly. So I have like the mutton sleeves. So it's the big poofy mutton sleeves, and I chose taffeta because it holds the shape without any reinforcement. And so I have all this beautiful trim on everything. I made my Juliet cap. I'm gonna get to the other foolishness in a second. So then, now that I know it works, I've been rhinestoning this thing for a month now. And Swarovski. So then after I do that, I decided, well, I've already test ran it once. Well, darn, I need to make sure I have the correct underpinnings because I'm a nerd like that. So I got the stockings, the silk garter strings. I have a corset. My chemise. Okay, so let me tell you about this fabric that my chemise top is made out of. You know gold lame, right? Now take that gold lame and open it up into a linen weave.
Ooh.
And I made that into a shirt. So then, hold on. Yeah, Sally has seen it. It's really pretty. So then I was like, well, dang, I can't walk around without some purse to put my phone in. So I made it a completely hand beaded and hand sewn reticule. That's black and white.
I love a reticule.
with, hold on. So the black side are white beads with purple jewels, and then the white side is black beads with purple jewels. Well, of course I can't run it through my sewing machine, so I had to hand stitch that whole thing, hand stitch the casing, made my, yeah. So then I was like, well, dang, those halogen lights are going to be pretty hot on that stage. So I made an Italian Renaissance flag fan.
Oh my gosh.
With my
I'm
embroidery
gonna
machine.
stop you right now. You
So-
don't need to make shoes.
No, you know what I did do? Because I thought it was funny. I bought gold jellies that look woven like my chemise. Sure did.
I need you to
Oh,
like.
and my,
That'd be the best
and my,
part.
hold on, and my underskirt, the black underskirt. Z, you're gonna know. You know all the goddess symbols that they use that usually rises up
Yeah.
beneath them. Yeah, I stitched 3 of them on the front of the skirt in rhinestone and Swarovski.
You're literally.
So anyway,
Like, you like put on a podcast or a show, and you just like,
I
because
put on- I put
Oh
on
my
D-rated
gosh.
horror movies, things
Okay.
like Thanksgiving,
Oh,
all
love,
the Sharknadoes.
love that.
Yeah, it's all background noise. So I just go. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so that way I can just like get, so like I've been playing hooky for a week now, so I should probably get back to my studio. But yeah, I literally embroidered it, did the old school cornstarch and water, starched it, had to
Yeah.
hang it, put it, oh yeah, it was obscene. But yeah, that's what I'm wearing next month.
Wow, you are cosplay Barbie, like legitimately. You come with
Really?
so many accessories. Like this is this Barbie's
match.
job is cosplay.
I have to match from head to toe. There's no option. There's no other way to do it. You can't, for me, I can't halfway do it. It has to be balls to the wall the whole time.
Nice.
I'm a trash panda.
A very shiny trash panda. I guess that kind of leads into the question, is this the most difficult cosplay you've ever made, or is there like one that you're just like, this darn thing, like it almost wasn't worth it?
So, okay. Can we show this picture behind us real quick?
Yeah, hang on one second.
Yeah, let me go ahead and rant and rave about this.
Hang on.
Oh, wait, there we go. Oh, wait, no. Can we just have sound and nobody's in it? No. Bueller? I'll just bring everybody back. I can't see. Wait.
Sorry, I'm
wait.
trying to get you to go
Oh, okay.
over here, but then I'm trying to get rid of us.
But
I'll
I
make
want
it
to see
work.
the. Can we?
I know. I'm trying to get it to work.
Oh, okay. I was like, I'm probably not making sense right now.
It's like those
No,
little
you're good.
puzzles where you have to move the squares around.
Playing
I can't-
Tetris.
All right, let me see. Just go ahead and talk about it because I'm gonna get it up. I
Yeah,
promise.
so anyway, so this gown, I am the queen at Festival of Legends, which is a fantasy themed fair. And so I play Queen Ashura, who is the Summer Fae Queen. Insert 4,000 titles here that was gifted and bequeathed to me. So it was the first time. I hate corsets. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I can pay somebody to do it, I will. But out of pride, I wanted to make this outfit. So I'm uno más. There we go.
Got
No, we get to ooh and ah at you.
So this dress is a corset top that I did
Mhm.
double boned at each seam with
Yep.
the bra inserts, so it's cupped, and so I don't have to wear a bra with it. It's already sculpted into it.
Yep.
And so this is the linen Italiano that I was telling you about.
Nice. It looks nice.
So, okay, so this fabric at the bottom that's happening is literally just a sheer fabric with 4,000 freaking sequins and embroidery on it. Now the reason I hated it, I don't like making corsets. Let's start there. I don't like boning corsets. Like I'll bone the top, but I'm not boning the top. Now, this gold crap right here
Yeah.
is not real leather. This is called upholstery leather. And it's the color that I wanted. So I chose violence and made it out of that. But it is all this stuff around the neck and then the bust line is all silk. Now, let me tell you what happens when you put silk with faux leather. It's a terrible time. I'm just going to put that right there. Now, the challenging part, all this armor here, I don't do foam work, y'all. I don't know. I leave it to the professionals. I suck at it. And my girlfriend talked me into it and walked me into how to make my own form, like pauldrons and stuff like that. And I am never doing it again.
Oh my
I am
gosh.
never doing it again. My
I mean,
dog.
mad props to people who do like EVA and
No.
other foam work, but
I love that for the EVA foam workers.
I love it for
However,
them. Yeah.
never again. Like my friend was like, "Girl, it's your first time and you killed it." And then so when my dog got a hold to it, I went, "Dang,
Oh,
I'm not
geez.
remaking
Oh
it.
no.
I'm not remaking it." I was angry and I'm not remaking it. That thing can die in a pit of fire. All this armor crap and then this leather thing, which pro tip, April is not as cool as I thought it was up in this state. And I baked every single day. Baked.
Oof.
Ugh.
Baked. The wings were a commission for me, thank God. However, everything else baked. Death becomes her.
Oh my gosh.
But
Never
at least
again.
you look fantastic.
Never
Yeah.
again. I'm not doing any of that ever again. This is it. If I gain weight, too bad. like no.
It'll be that
Oh, man.
scene in Gone with the Wind.
Like just spanks me up, put me an under corset on, and pray to the gods. Like I'm not doing it again. I'm not making a corset like that again. I'm not doing that foam work again. That leather was a bad choice, but it had the aesthetic because I chose violence, and that entire thing can burn in the pit of snakes.
Heck yeah.
Just I'm done. I get to wear it this year for April, but I'm not remaking anything. Like it's just gonna be like, cool, we live here now. Thanks. Y'all aren't getting armor this year. You're not getting armor this year. If I even wear it, I might wear something else and put armor on it. And by armor, I mean my friend's gonna make it. Like I'm not doing it.
Oh, but I think that kind of segs into a really interesting thing is like know what you can do and know your resources.
Mhm.
Don't feel like you have to do the whole thing yourself.
Yeah, I'm done. Okay, so listen. Okay, and let me
If
explain.
you're not
something
May, I
here.
mean.
Hold on. Let me explain something here. First of all, I come from the land of every snake can kill you. Okay, that's
Right?
number one. I'm not talking about putting snakes, SNEKS. I'm talking like cobras. I'm talking like cottonmouths.
Cottonmouth.
That's what I'm talking about. Because I almost got bit by one as a child, and I've been traumatized ever since. Anything
Remind
that
me to
can
tell
kill,
you the story of how I got introduced to Cottonmouth.
don't do it. Pro tip, y'all, if you're not from the deep south, just avoid it. Snakes that can kill you. I mean, it's like Australia, but in the south. All right, what's the next one?
Suddenly
So
we're
many-
talking
What was
snakes.
the question?
Yeah, I was
mean,
like, what?
At least this wasn't, and again, we're not going to get back into it, but if you guys knew what we were talking about, like pre-show, and this isn't like, this is why AMAs will never be the secret show, like the crafting show with Cubby and Shoshi, because theirs are like adorable little side quests before they start. We were having like an unhinged conversation about like
Right before.
terrible dog habits. Yeah, it was really bad. What is your favorite kind of costume to sew? Like, I know now exactly what it is that drives you up a wall, but like, is there like something where you're like, oh, I'm so excited, like this is a project that maybe isn't easy but is like either rewarding or soothing to do or cathartic, or you look forward to it a lot?
I will tell you, any chance I can make a historical gown, I make it, and let me
Hmm.
tell you why. As a little brown girl growing up, I got told black people don't wear that, or you only can wear this in this time era, or you didn't exist. What do we do? Pop out the ground like freaking daisies and potato sacks? Like I don't understand. So and growing up in Louisiana, it was very hard. Now there is a particular place in Louisiana that I auditioned for back in the day, and I got told no, and I was only allowed to be one character because black people weren't aristocratic. So of course that put a bad taste in my mouth when I was 18.
Cite your sources.
Louisiana Ren Fair. So my
Oh,
thing
I mean,
was like,
just need them
Oh.
too. I will cite sources right back at them.
also, can I recommend the book The Black Tutors? Just putting that out
Oh
there.
yeah, I own
No,
it.
I
You
was-
don't have to recommend it.
Me too. So my thing was like, it put me off. Like I was upset, I was distraught. Like I was like, I'm never gonna be able to do this. And somewhere around 28, I stopped caring. And when I hit 30, I definitely stopped caring. So I started working on I didn't know anything about historical. Like, it's a different silhouette, it's a different style. Like, it's depending on the era. And I've always loved it. Like, I've always read about that era, fashion books about that era. Like, I go anywhere from like where I'm at now with the Vikings that I a part of, the 900s, all the way down until like the early 1900s. Because I love that. I don't love the corset part because it can kind of suck depending on the shape, but I love that fashion and I love the way it looks. So to me, it's really pretty. So anytime I get a chance to do it, I will do it. Making my court gown for CRF was the most satisfying thing I've ever done because one, I made my audition. Two, I was on the royal court. And three, I got to be a brown woman on the royal court that was aristocratic and owned ships. So like for me, it was very like that culmination of the stuff that I kept
Yeah.
doing. Cause like I did I love doing mashups with cosplays too. So I love doing like historical inspired stuff along with a character. So like I got to do the Wicked Witch of the West, but I did Erte. So I did an
That's
Erte Wicked Witch of the
cool.
West. I did
Sexy.
I'm doing a
That's
Victorian
cool.
walking gown, but it's all out of kente cloth, all African wax cloth.
That's
I'm
really
doing
cool.
yeah, it's all cut out and I just have to have the heart to it took me a long time to cut that up. And now I'm just like, you know, and before somebody was problematic, I cut out a Slytherin walking gown that was Victorian. What I tell y'all? Didn't I tell you that would happen?
Oh no, it happened. Oh
What
no.
happened?
We were doing so well. We're almost there too.
But yeah, so
No.
anything that's historical, pre 19 teens is great to me.
Mhm.
So, that's why I'm really excited about this Italian Renaissance gown because I get to be big. It's giving Ever After. And I think that's what I love about it so much because it's the wings, it's the same bodice. It's a little different, but I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
But
I
those
love it. I love it.
costumes are still good. Like I love
Yeah,
them. I
and
love
and it may not be embellished, but the technique is what's hard. And that's what makes me like
yeah.
squee because I'm just like finally like I'm not gonna let somebody from when I was like 16 18 tell me what I can't do. Now I'm gonna do all the weird mashup things. You know what I'm saying? Like if I can do it, I
Question.
will. Yes.
I am a ADHD goblin with
Mhm.
like zero patience for things. And so whenever I have something that's complicated,
Mhm.
if I can't get it after like a few times, I get so frustrated. And I'm wondering like what technique did you really have to like push through to learn? Did it take you the longest?
In general, tailoring was really
Yeah.
hard for me because it's kind of hard to tailor on your own body, and then unless you order a custom mannequin, you can't really do it like 120% accurately. And on top of that, our bodies fluctuate. That
Yeah.
means you would have to order a mannequin every time you go up a size, go down a size, and something like that. So I had to learn how to do it on myself, which sucked. But once I got a mannequin that could adjust at least enough, I could put my measurements on the mannequin and then try and go from there. And then any adjustments I can make after that, no big deal.
Yeah.
As long as it's like minor stuff. But tailoring sucked. Like
I
when I
have
first was
friends. I
trying to
have
do it.
SBA friends who have like spent a lot of time and money. There's a particular guy who
Mhm,
does really nice tailored
mhm.
doublets and stuff, and
Oh
people
yeah.
follow this man around the country to take his classes.
Yeah, he doublets are crazy. I've done a couple before I was like super feeling comfortable with myself to do such things. And I made my son a doublet a few years ago. Pro tip, they don't actually make patterns for children doublets. So I had to
Mhm.
take a grown man and size it down to the size of my 4-year-old at the time. So let me tell you, you want some skills that I had to learn to be like, crap, how do I shrink this down to the size of a grown man down to a tiny human? But yeah, it was tailoring. Tailoring is what got me. Tailoring is definitely what got me.
Do you work mostly from patterns, like already printed patterns and adjust, or do you
It
slope and dress?
depends. It
Yeah.
depends. I'll drape.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Oh yeah.
draping can be a pain in the butt. It depends on what I'm working on if it's worth it. Sometimes I will just take patterns and Frankenstein them to get what I want. So
Yeah.
I'll just cut it up and take 4 different patterns together to get what I want. But it just depends on the situation. Like my court gown, I ended up having to drape some stuff. So it was terrible. Like it can be a pain in the butt. But it'll be worth it in the end. The only problem was apparently I didn't know during Ren Fair you can lose weight. A lot.
You lose a
Yeah.
lot of
Walking.
water.
I was
Yeah.
like, it fit 3 weeks ago. What's happening?
Right. I'm always amazed because I'm like, I don't get how I weigh less because I've been living off of pretzels and funnel cake.
Bro, and like those terrible
No.
turkey legs, and then like and then because I have to do it once a year. I have to. I can't. Like I have to
Once
have
a
it once
year
a year.
can be forgiven, but they're so
I only have
bad.
it one season. Before I even was on cast, I had to have one. I had to have one to say I did it, and then
I
that
always
was
love
it.
when I see somebody getting their very first turkey leg, like ever, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Good luck.
good
I
luck.
just want the salt. I want the salt and the grease. The salt and the grease. So that's all.
I
I want.
just on the grease. Yeah.
It's
All
fun
right.
to wear your Fitbit around too. Like if you can hide it on you somewhere. Like we always had like if you ever see like
It's amazing. Yeah, like
yeah,
amazing.
certain acts with like bracelets and stuff on, and you're just like, oh, like we're all like seeing who can get more steps in.
You know what
'Cause
I do?
It can rack up. Yeah.
My phone does it. So I put
Oh,
it in my
nice.
pockets and I was just going. Like, cause we did like
Yeah.
the Royal Court 5K every
Yeah.
day. Cause
Yeah.
we're coming all the way from the jousting and trying to get all the way
Yep.
to the
I tell people that so like my body can't handle it anymore. Not in the after times, but like I tell people like yeah, we would walk 5 miles a day easily, and then
Yeah.
2 days a weekend. I know like some casts, their cast only comes out like periodically, but when you have a fair where you see the cast like they're at the joust field and then they're at this,
let me tell you
and they're
something.
trust me, they are
Let me tell you something.
hoofing it all the time.
I checked my Apple Watch or my phone or something after my first day, and I had walked 10 miles.
Yeah, it's a
Oof,
lot.
yep.
One day. So I was walking
Yep.
20 miles a week. So like
Yep.
that's what I'm saying. It's that U shape. That's what tricks you. That U shape gives you a false sense of security. And then you're just like, I'm still not there yet. And then the Haven is way in the back for weddings. So you don't even count that part. You got to go way into like a whole other country just to get there. So I'm like, meh.
I like, yeah, so the like LARF, TRF, like a lot of them are fairly flat. Sherwood is on a hill. Like a
absolutely
steep
not.
hill.
Absolutely
Like
not.
the bottom part's like flat and then the rest of it's on this super steep hill. And I can tell you every time like we had to go from a stage at the bottom of the hill to the stage at the top of the hill. We all like had to psych ourselves up for it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have
You're
to
like-
after this. I'm gonna have to tell you the story about the tsunami that blew through this year, and we still had to go out there. But hey, what's the next question?
yeah.
We can rapid fire now.
You're good. You're good. I did the same thing. I was just like, oh my gosh, the steps. No, I'm with you. It's true that, but what people don't understand too, and just like on the topic of costumes and walking and being hot, whatever. I'm sure you guys have the same thing where like all day long, the only question I ever get asked is, where is the bathroom? And aren't you hot in that?
Yep.
And aren't you hot in that?
My favorite part was, okay, where's this? So what we used to tell people, because I learned this as a patron. They're like, oh my God, the lines are so long. I said, and I'm not going to do the accent because I'm pretty sure it's trash. But they were just, I was like, pro tip. But I didn't say it like that. Go all the way to the back. Don't stop here. Go all the way to the back. And you're working your way forward. So by the time these people are up there, you're working way to the front. Also, there is a mimosa stand back there. Also, the Queen's Kitchen is a lot faster. Also, the ton of the shops are back there. So go all the way and work your way forward, because then all the crap that's coming through the front, you're already on your way out. You're done.
Yeah.
Like you can beat everybody, get all the food that you want, get your mimosas, get your mead, whatever, all the way in the back. And then you work all the way up. And so people are like, oh my God, the lines are so long. So I'd be like, hello, excuse me, if you wish to go to get a mimosa, I would highly recommend going to this way. So like, and people would be like booking it. And they were just like, oh, well, crap,
But yeah, like I guess, and this is for anybody watching that might not know the answer. Like we were talking before about natural fabrics, cottons, linens, and stuff like that. Like everyone who's visiting is probably wearing like some polyester costume they got on Amazon, which looks good a lot of the time. It actually does. Like
but you're gonna die.
Right.
I'm
right.
sitting here in layers of cotton with like some, fancy
linen and
on
silk.
top.
Like it's all natural and it's all breathable.
And if you're in a hoop, my favorite thing to say is like I'm wearing like cotton like underpinnings, wool socks, and I have a hoop, so like nothing's touching me. So I was very comfortable anytime I was in like a court gown or something that was held away from my legs. And people were just like, I'm dying of the heat. And I'm like, girl, you are in a shiny fabric. And
you're wearing plastic. You're wearing
Can we talk about on top of that? Bodice chillers, my guy. Let me tell you about my Lord and Savior, bodice chillers. And then I really want to like make a thing. I want super lightweight fans that don't make noise and just sew them into my hoop skirt. So that way it's just a constant breeze, my guy.
That's constant. Where you Ren girls like have it like maybe a little better than the medieval because we don't have hoops.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's not. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't get.
See, when I do my Viking group, when I do my Viking rim, oh my god, so much wool and linen, and I'm just living my best life. And
I love my Viking. My apron dress is maybe my favorite dress.
Dude, because my character's Maghrebi, so she's technically North African that ended up being adopted and stuff. Bro, so much stuff, so many options I have. I have way more. No offense. I said, cool, I'm going to blend my culture with y'all because I'm taking this head covering stuff, get wrecked. Like, I was like, I'm going to put the whatever, like turban it, call it a day, have my face covering. Y'all can burn. I'm not. Like,
I have a Jorvik hood. My hood is a Jorvik hood, and I love it because it's nice and tinty. I don't know. That's not a word, but I actually like it.
It's going
nice,
in there.
Though. Like I love that because like when you wear the North African time period, it wasn't about, oh, I'm being modest. It was like, bro, we're not trying to die in this desert. Let me just cover my face. And I introduced my whole group to coal lining. And they kept seeing me do it with the stick. Like it's the actual stuff from Egypt that's like made of crushed nuts and stuff. And they were like, what? I said, come here, let me do this. Everybody's been doing it ever since. Keeps the light out your eyes, keeps your eyes moisturized. Yep. So they were just like, what witchcraft? I said, you better get on that African stuff, my guy. I want to tell you. Like I know I'm just rambling. Do we have any more questions?
No, you're fine.
Rapid fire.
Do you have a very specifically like a creative process for coming up with or planning out a new costume or cosplay, or is it just sort of like the inspiration will strike and then you just sort of go with the flow?
Fam, I'm a Virgo, so like what I do is, first I'll figure out, okay, what's inspired me? What do I want to do? Is it like super canon? Am I doing a freaking like mashup, which I love doing? I'm very guilty about that. That's kind of my thing. And then I'll go, all right, what fabrics would be best for that? And that's when knowing your fabrics come in handy. Do I need it to hold shape? Do I need it to drape? Do I need billowy? Do I need X, Y, and Z, right? So then I start writing down the type of fabrics that I have. Okay, what color do I want? So then I figure out the color scheme. That's usually a month process. So then after I do that, I'm like, let me start sourcing fabrics. Now, let me explain something to you. When I make my stuff, I make it with the intention of wearing it 8 months from now. The only time I've done something crazy was because it was last minute. It was a dumb idea and we closet cosplay it. And usually I have to dye some crap and it turns into a nightmare because I'm rushing. And by nightmare, I mean my hands are hot pink or something like that. So I usually have a notebook of list of things I want to do, ideas I want to do. Then I have a different notebook of making my materials list. And then I source my fabric. And then sometimes, depending on how extra I'm being, I will get swatches depending on where I'm ordering it from. A lot of places that I order from do have a 30-day return policy, so I can get it. And if I end up hating it, I can send it back and get a different kind. So I
Okay.
usually like plan everything out and even get the pattern figured out. And then I start working on it. And depending on how inspired that I feel at the time, because my guilty thing is I work on 3 costumes at a time. Because when I get sick of something, I move to
You
the
have
other
to
one.
switch.
And then when I get sick of it, I go to the third one. So then when I'm sick of it, I go back to the first one. So I end up, that's why people are like, how do you have like 3 new and 6? I said, because I just keep going, because I rotate it. And like, I can't,
Yeah.
if I get frustrated on something, I'm not going to keep doing it and then screw it up. I'll go to something else. And then after that, I'll go to something else. Sometimes I'll just be real crazy and just like make a quilt topper because I'm bored and I don't want to touch clothing anymore. So it's kind of like a palette cleanser. So I usually plan
Mhm.
everything out. And so like when I made the first incarnation of this Erd gown, I started it last year in January. I wore it in June. I was like, okay, when do I want to wear it next? What upgrades do I want to make? So I was going to slowly start doing that. Well, good thing the dress was already made because I was requested to wear this particular gown for KatsuCon. So back in October, I knew where to get my rhinestones from because it's the same girl I got my rhinestones from when I did burlesque. And she has really nice, almost exactly looking glass ones that look like Swarovski or
Okay.
Preciosa. And Looking Glass Gems, 10 out of 10 would recommend. And if you don't like the color, she will literally send you a new color and take the other ones back. She believes in customer satisfaction and it's a POC business. So you do that. So I did all that and I ordered it and I got one color that didn't work. So she let me ship it back and she sent me a different shade of it. So that's the whole thing. So October I started rhinestoning. Then I started making a new head thing. Then I started making the purse. Then I started like it's just like it just depends. But like I will do it. I have done it, but I hate it. So I usually try and take like 6 to 8 months to get everything done. Um oh, reasonable place to get alpaca.
I was
Um
so yeah, I was gonna throw that up in a second. Yeah, go for it.
so Sally, I cannot remember it right now. It's a woman that's local down here in North Carolina. I have to get her card. So all my socks I wear for my Viking socks or the socks I put under my underpinnings, under my stockings for Ren Fair, they're alpaca wool. And they have kept me cool, warm, dry. They're real nice. And they come in different styles, different sizes. Obviously they go all the way up to like a men's 14 or 15 or something like that. And she does like yarns too, so she has yarns, alpaca wool yarns that she does, scarves and everything like that. But just remind
Yeah.
me, I don't have it with me, it's in my sewing room with my new socks, so got a new pair. But she's 10 out of 10. She has her own alpaca farm, she sources everything herself. But she does sell the wool. And I think my socks cost me 20, 25, something like that for my
That's
socks
not
that are
bad.
solid wool.
That's not bad at all.
But yeah, I'll hit you up. Cloaks. Can I get I don't know if she does stuff like that. I can double check 'cause she does work with a lot of reenactors um with the wool. So I could ask her, but I don't know if she gets cloaks. I think she just does the materials or socks. I'll confirm that with her when I have to send her email about something.
Sweet. Yeah, no, that's really cheap. 20
Hmm.
for some, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
all right, we have about 2 minutes left because we keep talking about random things like turkey legs, and it's perfectly fine. This is why I'm so excited that this was our like opening AMA of January, but I knew we were just going to be like girl talking the whole time.
But
Which is great. I love this. But I guess the most important question is if you could name like one main reason, either one main reason why it is that you cosplay, like for you, coming from a place of you,
for
or what
me,
it is that drives you when you cosplay.
I'll be honest, I already know this answer because I've had the answer before. It's
Okay.
mainly because when I was growing up, this was not a thing for POCs. And in the African American community, it can be a little crazy. So I was always called the weird one, or I wasn't right, or why did I like all that weird stuff? I'm not gonna go with the other stuff. So I never had representation. Like I never had representation that was so mainstream or whatever that was little, like I didn't see people that looked like me as a little girl. And so once I hit a certain age, I was like, well, I'm gonna keep going because, I know what it's like to not have that representation. So as soon as Princess Tiana came out, that's the first Disney princess gown I've ever made.
That's awesome.
Because I did not connect. I said, she's from New Orleans like me. She looks like me. And the first time I wore it was in Phoenix, Arizona. And the amount of little girls that screamed and ran up to me and wanted to take photos because a princess that looks like me, like that's all I needed. That was like my soul, like filling thing. And, going forward, when I was on Ren Fair this year, the amount of little Black girls and their moms, let me talk about the grown-ups that were shocked to see 3 or 4 POCs on Royal Court because nobody, it's hard sometimes. Either people are afraid to do it or some places just don't cast it. So it's out of like, you too can do this. Or, like it's not a not thing. And so like it's great. And I tell them, hey, look at this book or look up this, because you'd be surprised how many POCs were part of the Tudor history and stuff like that. So I didn't get that. So I'm trying to give that, which is the same reason I push my kids. Do what you want to do. Who cares? Like whatever. I don't even care anymore. Like forget it.
Yeah.
Like
that is so awesome. I'm just and I just a little personal here. When I started working doing character performance down at Disney, it was the year after. It was just a year after, maybe 2 years after Tiana debuted in the parks at all. And you're absolutely right. Like the response to that was always so heartwarming just to witness. But that dress is huge.
Oh yeah, mine was probably 2/3 of the size because I was like, this is too much. And I had this wool suit that I made that was a Bessie Coleman suit that I did for Black History Month, and it looks like Tiana's freaking riverboat outfit. Because when I was at Animate, they thought that I was being Riverboat Tiana because I had the boots and I know Duchess. I'm not that cool. I'm not a princess. I'm not gonna lie. I did do the Dutch. That was my first like big FU Ren gown was the Duchess of Wakanda. That was all leopard print. And
I love it. It was beautiful. I have a lot of friends that are blurs and it's true. There's like, it's like they were hiding. It's like they felt all of them have kind of the same story that like I keep hearing from my people about how I'm not Black enough and then I'm weird and like, whatever. But then like, Geordie LaForge happened and there was a Space Maid, it like every time that there's a new character and space is made, we get to see that community grow bigger and bigger, and I love it.
Bro, when I saw Ahura, I said, all right, I'm done. Let's go.
I'm done. You're done. I want the dress and the boots.
I want it all. Give me all of Wakanda. Give me all of Black Panther. You know what? I'll just be adorable.
Black
like
Panther
screw it. Like
gorgeous.
I'll shake my head again. Like it's totally fine.
This is amazing. I really appreciate, first of all, I appreciate your answer as a whole because it's heartwarming and that is so inspiring as well to just know that like you're not just doing it because it's satisfying, because I'm sure it is. It's a hobby that makes you happy, but like you're also making other people happy, which is so awesome.
Yeah.
And I wish we had more time. We might need to do a part 2 of this because this is amazing. But I do have to.
We can talk about sewing machines, huh?
Oh yeah.
Tell me.
Oh, you want to know what I have? Real quick. I have a Pfaff Creative icon too.
Yeah, I won't. I promise.
For people that need to know what that is a 2-in-1. It's a sewing and embroidery machine that costs $20,000.
Yeah, I won't touch it. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, no. Now the stay out of my entire state makes sense. I was judging you a little bit for that comment. No, I'm not.
No. If we do another costumey cosplay one, we should have Lex on too because she.
Oh, I should just go in my room. So here's my spaceship. It has Alexa built into it, which it does.
Alexa, sew me a dress.
Alexa, please load the zigzag stitch. Like I'm not even kidding. Like,
All right,
Okay,
so
I'm
this is
done.
happening. We're going to schedule this for March.
Yes, round 2.
No
round
joke.
2, yes.
Round 2 is happening, and we can be sewing while we're chatting or working on projects. And,
Oh, is that what's gonna happen? Drat,
yes.
this is how you've tricked me into getting over my trauma.
look at this. This is our Stitch and Bitch, guys. It's real.
This is such a bitch.
We love
Well,
that
this
you're
has
watching
been-
this, but this is for us.
Yeah, I mean,
Were there people
everyone
here?
watching this. There's been a couple people on, and they're lovely. And I know for a fact a bunch of people were saying they were going to watch this like after the fact, like over the weekend, and they're just
Yeah.
like, "What are they doing? What was happening? What were they on?" But I do have to end this. It is run a little bit over, but I appreciate you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much,
Thanks
and
for
thank you guys for watching. This AMA has been such a blast, and we are going to have more once every month, and also a makeup from last year, hopefully in March when we do part 2, the Stitch and Bitch. Yeah, I was trying to come up with a cooler name, but my brain just short circuited.
We'll
Have a
figure
great
it out.
night. Bye, everybody.